Welcome to Buddha's Path, Learn and Practice Buddhism, where we explore the wisdom and teachings of Buddhist philosophy. Today, we delve into the fascinating topic of sin versus karma, examining how these concepts differ and what they mean for our daily lives. Through clear explanations and thoughtful insights, we'll uncover how Buddhism approaches morality and personal responsibility, offering guidance for those seeking a deeper understanding of ethics, compassion, and the journey toward inner peace. In exploring the concepts of sin and karma within Buddhism, it's important to recognize that these two ideas, while both connected to ethics and consequences, arise from very different philosophical backgrounds. Understanding the differences and nuances between sin and karma can provide profound insight into the Buddhist worldview, its approach to morality, and how individuals are encouraged to live their lives. Let's begin with the notion of sin, a concept more commonly associated with Abrahamic religions such as Christianity, Judaism, and Islam. In these traditions, sin is typically understood as a transgression against the will, law, or command of a divine being, God. Sin carries with it a sense of moral guilt, and often the need for repentance and forgiveness from a higher power. In this framework, morality is dictated by a divine authority, and wrongdoing is seen as an offense against that authority. Buddhism, however, approaches the question of moral action from a fundamentally different perspective. In Buddhist teachings, the concept of sin as a violation of a divine law doesn't really exist. The Buddha did not frame morality in terms of obedience to a god or supreme being. Instead, he focused on the natural laws of cause and effect that govern the universe, particularly as they relate to human thought, speech, and action. This is where the concept of karma comes into play. Karma, a Sanskrit word meaning action, refers to the principle that every intentional action, whether in thought, word, or deed, creates a corresponding result. These results may be experienced in this life or in future lives, shaping the conditions of our existence. Unlike sin, karma is not about offending a deity or breaking a divinely mandated rule. It is, rather, a law of moral causation, much like the natural laws that govern the physical world. Just as planting a seed leads to the growth of a plant, wholesome actions lead to positive results, and unwholesome actions lead to suffering. This distinction has profound implications. In Buddhism, ethical conduct is not about pleasing or appeasing a god, nor is it about avoiding eternal damnation. Instead, it's about understanding the consequences of our actions and cultivating wisdom and compassion. The Buddha taught that suffering arises from ignorance, craving, and aversion, and that by acting out of these mental states, we generate negative karma that perpetuates our suffering. Conversely, actions rooted in generosity, loving kindness, and understanding yield positive karma and lead us toward liberation. Another important difference lies in how Buddhism and theistic religions view the process of purification or atonement. In traditions that emphasize sin, forgiveness is often sought through confession, repentance, and divine grace. In Buddhism, however, the process of purification involves recognition of unwholesome actions, sincere regret, the resolve to avoid repeating them, and the cultivation of wholesome actions moving forward. There is no intermediary who grants forgiveness. Rather, it is through one's own effort and understanding that one purifies the mind and transforms behavior. Karma is also more nuanced than a simple system of reward and punishment. The Buddha emphasized intention as the key factor in generating karma. An act that is outwardly harmful, but done without intention to harm, has a different karmic weight than one done with malicious intent. This focus on intention places responsibility squarely on the individual's state of mind, encouraging self-awareness and mindfulness in all actions. It's also important to note that karma is not fate. Buddhism teaches that while past actions influence present circumstances, individuals always have the capacity to change their future through present choices. The law of karma is not deterministic. It is dynamic and responsive to ongoing effort and insight. This empowers individuals to take responsibility for their lives, knowing that transformation is always possible. Without the framework of sin and divine judgment, Buddhist morality is grounded in the Four Noble Truths and the Eightfold Path. the first noble truth points to the reality of suffering. The second explains its origin in craving and ignorance. The third noble truth holds out the possibility of the cessation of suffering, and the fourth details the path of ethical conduct, mental discipline, and wisdom that leads to liberation. The Eightfold Path: right view, right intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration serves as a practical guide to ethical living. Furthermore, the Buddhist understanding of karma extends beyond the individual. Our actions, speech, and thoughts have ripple effects that influence not only our own lives, but the lives of those around us. This interconnectedness fosters a deep sense of responsibility and compassion for others. By acting mindfully and ethically, we contribute to the well-being of all beings, not just our own. In summary, while the concept of sin involves the violation of divine law and carries with it a sense of guilt and the need for forgiveness, karma is an impersonal law of cause and effect that operates independently of any deity. In Buddhism, morality is not about obedience to a higher power, but about understanding the nature of suffering and happiness and acting in ways that lead to greater wisdom and compassion. The emphasis on intention, personal responsibility, and the potential for transformation sets the Buddhist approach apart. This distinction between sin and karma also shapes the Buddhist attitude toward others. There is no concept of eternal damnation or irredeemable sin. The Buddhist path is open to all, regardless of past actions, and every moment presents an opportunity to begin anew. Through mindfulness, ethical conduct, and the cultivation of wisdom, one can purify the mind, overcome the roots of suffering, and move toward enlightenment. Ultimately, the Buddhist teachings on karma invite us to look deeply into the motivations behind our actions, to take responsibility for the consequences we create, and to live with compassion and awareness. Rather than focusing on guilt and punishment, Buddhism encourages us to develop understanding, transform our habits, and contribute to the happiness of ourselves and others. It is a path of liberation, grounded not in fear of sin, but in the realization of our potential for wisdom, kindness, and joy. If you found this exploration of sin and karma insightful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more thought-provoking content. Your engagement helps us reach others who are curious about the deep intersections of philosophy, religion, and personal growth. By supporting our channel, you join a community dedicated to understanding life's big questions and fostering meaningful conversations. Stay tuned for more explorations into wisdom, compassion, and the paths that shape our experiences.